Satnam. This time out, we are going to explore Drishti. Now, Drishti is an interesting concept. It roughly means focus. And so sometimes we focus with our eyes on pay attention in class. And sometimes my Drishti back in school was better on some days than the others. But in a yogic sense, we are learning to hold our focus in different parts of our being, or even a little bit outside it. So let me talk to you a bit. When we say you're going to focus your eyes at what's called the Ajna chakra, up at the third eye, okay? It's an interesting idea. I remember when I first was asked to do that, that felt really, really odd, but at the same time familiar. And the reason is, how often have we just looked up, and when someone asks you a question, your eyes go up, like there must be something in there, up there. But in the world of Kundalini Yoga, we put more science to that. And so, yes, you are using your eyes. Yes, you are engaging the optic nerve. And yes, there's a physicality to it. So here's an interesting thing to consider. While your eyes are, say, with this particular drishti focus is up here, what about the rest of you? Something I personally like to engage in throughout my practice is a hint of a smile, because that helps support this. And by the way, the drishti itself is supported by breath, and then the breath is also supported by the focus. The breath is supported by the posture. There's a postural support for where the eyes are, and there's a reason for it. If your posture, say, is here, well, my ability to even roll, I'm just being very exaggerated, but I'm very compromised in my ability to even roll my eyes up. If I come up to here, it's vastly easier, okay? Here's something else that helps that. The rest of the face, okay? If I hint of a smile, it helps. Not a big smile, just like I would say a Buddha face or a saint face. Something about relaxing this part of your face lends itself to an easier time with the eyes. Now that's just the most common drishti we use in Kundalini Yoga, but it's hardly the only one. Another very common one is referred to as Nagara Drishti, and it's where we gaze down at the tip of the nose, usually with our eyes barely open, crack open. And that's a different use of the eye muscles. The optic nerve is used in a different fashion. That one took me a lot more practice to find comfort with. And I wouldn't say even now that it's my default drishti, but I do practice it. There are other drishtis that go beyond the tip of the nose. We can gaze down, at least pretend we're gazing at the chin, because we can't actually see it, but from the inside, we can. But that requires our imagination to see your chin from gazing downward. But you're looking past the tip of the nose, okay? And there are others. We can, in stretch pose, which we'll cover later, you're holding your feet up, you'll have a drishti at the toes. There are certain postures where the drishti can be the thumbs. We'll explore that when we practice archer pose, one of the Virabhadrasana postures, warrior postures. There are drishtis when you're looking at your favorite saint. In my case, I will look at pictures of the Sikh gurus or Yogi Bhajan, the Tratakan picture, just staring at it, holding your eyes to a fixed gaze. That's a form of a drishti. We wouldn't use that so much while you're practicing the asanas, but it's something to help strengthen your eyes. We can do that. So I recommend pay attention to your posture and see how it supports the ability to look up, look down, look out, Look at your toes. You'll begin to see that how the heart is supported and how the neck is supported directly will impact on how effectively we can begin to use the power of focus. Now you understand that postures are more than breath, and postures, the asanas, are more than just the geometry. It's really the three components of breath, bandha, drishti that creates the structure of which to build these outer shapes, these forms, okay? We have 84 major forms, 84 major asanas, countless variations. You don't need to know all 84, but you do need to know some from every group. Forward bends, twists, back bends, sitting postures, inverted postures. And within them, there's usually a breath, inner structure of the bandhas, and a drishti. When you're learning just a posture, the last thing you're going to be focusing on is where your eyes go. You're just going to be focusing on just attempting it. So oftentimes the drishti is the final piece. But again, with that hint of a smile, sometimes the struggle overpowers our face. It's so difficult. It's remarkable when you relax your face. Put on your yoga face. Don't stress it. Just reduce it. And I'll explain my approach to, okay, let's take things down to their basics. So again, I'm telling you about drishti, but understand it's going to be the final component of the asanas. Satnam.